You know that, hey honey, would you rub my shoulder muscle right here? It's that one that kind of pops out when you turn your head here. It gets really, really tight and you just want to dig into it. Well, it's called the levator scapula muscle. And what we're going to do in this video is I'm going to show you how to relax that levator scapula muscle in seconds, but better yet, teach you the strategies in order to make it stay better over some time. All right, we did make a beginner version of this that requires little to no equipment, and you can access that right here. This is the same type of video, but it's the advanced version, what we think are a little bit more difficult exercises, but if you can do them, you get more bang for your buck. So how we're going to approach the sequence to relaxing that levator scapula muscle and then learning the strategies to maintain that success, to keep it relaxed, is we're going to go through the REACH 3 R's. What are the 3 R's? Those are reset, regain, and reinforce. So reset basically means we're going to reset or release the muscle that can cause some restriction. We're going to regain normal range of motion by doing a repetitive motion exercise. Lastly, reinforce those changes with a good muscle engagement or activation exercise to kind of cement those changes. So quick anatomy about the levator scapula muscle, because it's not as well known as like the piriformis or the traps, but the levator scapula muscle literally means elevate scapula. Scapula means shoulder blade. So what does muscle do? Well, it's located right here on top of the shoulder blade, and then it goes up to your neck right under the skull over here. So what that does is it can use your neck as an anchor to elevate your shoulder blade. But also what it can do when it's anchored at the shoulder blade is it can help rotate and turn your head with the other muscles on the other side. So it does a couple different things. This correlates with the upper trap because the upper trap is right here on top of it. And if we turn and look away like this, you can see this muscle that pops out. It's kind of like a ropey or guitar string muscle. That's the levator scapula that's right under my trap that's on top. So really you get kind of a double whammy here. You get to stretch and relax the levator scapula muscle and the upper trapezius or trap as well. All right, so let's reset this. In our opinion, the best way to reset this is with a partner, but not everyone has someone around to help them with this. So if you don't, get a lacrosse ball or some sort of ball and use this. It's a really useful tool. We'll have a video right here so you can access that. If you do have a partner, this is a hell of a release or reset that we're gonna work you through right now. We're gonna use Dr. Israel here as our model for this partner reset step 1. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna find that levator scapula muscle first. So I'm gonna pull this out of the way, and you can see this muscle right here going from his neck all the way down here, and it goes back to the shoulder blade. You can see that popping out. Go ahead and look straight ahead. Notice it goes away. Go ahead and turn away again, and it pops out there. All right, so what we're gonna do is that you're gonna have your partner use their forearm here, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place my forearm right through here. So I'm gonna press down on it, but then watch my fist here. I'm gonna push back this way, right? Why? Because if you look at this muscle here, it's very ropey here, and you wanna really push this back. Go ahead and turn to your left again, right? See that muscle? You want to really get on this by pushing the upper trap back here. So we want that sliding motion. It gets into it better, okay? So I'm gonna take my forearm, I'm gonna place it right in that spot. I'm gonna get a little bit of a slide forward here, and I'm just gonna lean my body weight into them. And really, you just wanna get some feedback is if it's too strong, not enough, or just right. What would you say, Doc?
Mama bear right now.
Okay, so I can push a little harder?
Yep.
Okay, good. So I'm gonna lean a little bit more weight in it. Is that good?
Oh, I'm feeling that.
Perfect. And then all we're gonna do is hold that. And then we're gonna ask him to do a couple movements. So first, we're gonna just tuck the chin straight in. So it's pulling the chin, giving yourself a temporary double chin. And then hold that double chin, and then slowly look down towards your chest bone. Good. And what I'm gonna feel underneath my forearm here is some pull here. And then from at this point, I can always tilt my arm forward and back a little bit. And by rolling back and forth, you can really feel that there. Good, all right? Good, that's step 1. You can do that a few times. Now, step 2 is we're gonna place that forearm here again, get that little bit of slide back, put forward pressure into it. Yep, they'll usually give you a, wow. And then next is we're gonna tuck the chin in again. Good, and then now we're gonna turn the nose toward the opposite armpit, like you're gonna give it a little sniff. Good. Go ahead and turn, and look down at that armpit. I'm gonna feel a lot of pull underneath my forearm, and if I want, I can add a little bit of rocking with my forearm here. Good, and just get some feedback from your partner. Perfect, do a couple reps of that, and afterward, how do you feel?
Feel great.
All right, after you've performed a few repetitions of the reset and it feels pretty good, we're going to go into step 2, which is regain. What is that? It's regain motion. Right? A lot of times when we have this muscle tightness through here, we tend to lose some neck range of motion, whether it's rotation, tilting, looking down, and looking up. But what's interesting is that because we spend a lot of time posturally this way, we tend to respond to going in the opposite direction. And so we're gonna do a very simple motion. It's gonna help us regain any lost range of motion that we have. Use a low back chair like this, like a folding chair. And if you have, just find whatever you have around that's gonna essentially go behind or between the shoulder blades. Okay, so from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slide my butt forward so that the edge of the chair is basically below my neck. It's mid-back between the shoulder blades. And I'm gonna hold that position. Next, I'm gonna take my hands and put them over my ears like earmuffs. I'm gonna remove my right hand just so you can see what my head is doing. And what I'm gonna do is tuck my chin in, lift the elbows up, and if that's tolerable, then we're gonna drop the head and breathe out and add a little wiggle. It's like wiggling your toes in hot sand to get you a little bit deeper. All right? Now, if that's too painful, we're doing that, oh, it hurts. Don't force it. Just kiss the pain. Nice and easy. Want to nudge it with some repetitions. So you can always just go chin tuck, lift the elbows, oh, kiss the pain. Typically, you want to perform this for 10 repetitions every 3 to 4 hours or so. But note that every rep you take is like taking one foot in front of the other in a marathon, right? You're making small steps and small progress. So if you start noticing after some weeks, you're getting further and further with that motion there, that's really good. And note, if that is painful doing this, you need it. We need to restore that normal range of motion. So we've hit number 1, which is reset. Number 2, which is regain. Next is reinforce. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna activate all the muscles in a proper pattern to cement those changes. So this one requires a band. It doesn't have to be a loop band like this. It can be really any sort of band. Get one on Amazon if you don't have one around or whatever. So what we're gonna do with this is first and foremost, we wanna know how to set our shoulder blades. So what does that mean? I like to cue it as in shrug up, shrug down. Remember, the levator scapula is elevate the scapula, right? So that activates it and turns it on quite a bit. So we want to relax that or keep it relaxed. So we want to keep that relaxed by pulling the shoulder blades down. So what we want to do is a simple shrug up, shrug down, shrug up, shrug down. Notice the space between my ears and my shoulders. When I'm shrugged down, there's some space. When I'm shrugged up, there's less space. More space and less space. So now that I create more space, think about keeping those shoulder blades stuck down into your back pockets. Once I have those held there, I'm gonna do my best to maintain that position as I now activate muscles of my shoulders. So I'm gonna hold this in front of me, shrug up, shrug down, and then simply pull apart as far as you can go, hold for a second, and then slowly bring it back. Let's call it a 3-second opening. 1 second hold, 3 seconds closed. Be very aware that you're not doing this as you do it. Typically that means it's too tight here or too much load. So widen up your grip a little bit to make it easier. Shrug those shoulders down, long neck, chin in, pull apart, hold for a second, bring it back slowly. Repeat that for about 10 seconds. And then we'll do the same for about 10 repetitions. The next one, we're going a little higher. So we're gonna shrug up, shrug down, but now we're gonna reach the arms up higher without bringing the shoulders up with it. So I'm gonna shrug up, shrug down, hold that, same thing. I'm gonna open up my arms for 3 seconds, hold for 1 second, and then slowly bring it back for 3 seconds. Repeat for about 10 reps. Lastly, the most advanced version is going to be where we're going to pull apart and we're going to move through that upper and lower positions. So we're going to shrug up, shrug down, pull apart, hold, and now we're going to see, can we reach up overhead, up and down, while keeping those shoulder blades down. So I want to keep them here as opposed to up here. All right, keep them here. I'll do a couple of reps with good form, and then here's with bad form. To get a better view of what I'm doing here, I'm going to show you in the side view. So I'm going to start here, shrug the shoulders down, long neck, pull the band apart. Good, where you feel it working but not too much. Keep the shoulder blades down, and we're going to raise the arms up and bring them back down. I'll show you one more good rep. Raise up and raise down. Here's a bad rep. Up and down. Typically perform about 5 to 10 repetitions of each of those 3 exercises. But if you're finding that's too difficult, especially do the transition one, just stick with the one down here and just do a couple sets of 10. And remember, what's most important with the reinforce part of the sequence is not necessarily getting through the reps, it's quality reps. So if you're able to fly through it a bunch of reps without any problem, you probably need to make it a little harder. But if you're struggling through it only through a few reps, you got to peel it back a little bit. You want to find that most difficult version you can do perfectly throughout the entire 10 repetitions. There you have it. That's the sequence of the 3 R's, the reset, the regain, and reinforce of the levator scapula muscle, or how to relax that levator scapula muscle, but also keep it that way with these advanced strategies. Now you may be wondering, how do I package this all together? What we'd recommend is that you perform 1, 2, and 3, which is reset, regain, and reinforce in a row, at least 1 to 2 times a day. But ultimately, what's most important is not just doing a bunch of repetitions and sets at once, it's really being consistent over time. I'd rather see you do that sequence once a day for multiple weeks, as opposed to doing 5 sets for a couple days at a time, where there's times you don't do it at all. And that consistency is what's going to give you that longer lasting results. Hey, if you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful to you, please subscribe, hit the bell for future content. Speaking of future content, please leave a comment and let us know what other muscles are there that you'd like to see us apply the 3 R's to, right? Because there's a lot of different muscles in the body, a lot of different movements, a lot of stuff we can do. But we want to know from you, what do you want to see? Comment below and we'll make that video.